What? You thought of it dead. No, I'm still alive. I'm still gonna thrive. Still gonna survive. Do what I gotta do. Making a whole lot of money. When it comes to this. Ain't that been funny? Yeah. Yeah. Yo, the old man is back, boys. Some boxing. I'm not drop my laptop on. Steady up this table, you know what I mean? Steady him up, you know? Oh no! What a con! What a con! You know something? I got a link on YouTube, and now they're trying to con me. Now they're conning me. Now they blocked up the screen. But I'll stay and listen with the action, and then what a con! That's how you're going on. Big up, Johnny's on one. What a conner! Sean Connery, boy. So you going on, yeah? That's all right. I'll just listen. If anything, if they blank the whole screen, I'll just go on Talk Sport and listen to the radio commentary. You know what I mean? It's all good. Thought I was dead. You must be sick in your head. I leave you there bleeding. You know that I'm leading. My people have the struggle. I'm making the party bubble. Me and Ben Whittaker. They call him Ben Whittaker. No one as sick as you. What's going on there? Why is it? I should be live. Strange evening. El Grammars, the venue looks sold out. 15,000 capacity. Big up tone. Hey, I went to Now TV, you know. Their app is dead. They don't seem to have no app there, man. Their app seems to be Daily Motion or something. So I couldn't actually access Now TV. To be honest, look at this now. I mean, they led me in, and now they put this big banner on the front of the thing, so I can't really see the fight. That's right. So cool. There's a big battery on my feed on YouTube. Crazy. Ronnie, he's got Whittaker easier than expected. Yeah, I couldn't get the Now TV link. So I'm basically on radio commentary tonight. You know what I mean? Kind of like one of them old Joe Louis fights. Radio commentary. Okay. They're saying Whittaker's doing pretty well. He landed to the body. Very early though. First round, isn't it? First round. Oh, he's back to the showboating, yeah? Apparently showboating. Showboating. Is he gonna clean it up this time? No, I don't want an illegal. illegal thing. Because if it's on YouTube, no one can come do me anything because they just like they put a big banner. If you want to watch it properly, you got to give them a donation. Rabbit punch by Cameron. He has to do that. That's got to be his game. It's got to be his game. There's no way that Cameron is going to beat Whittaker on a first round. 9 times out of 10, Ben Whittaker will win the first round against Liam Cameron. But the first round is just the first round. You know what I mean? You got to build on that for 9 more. You got the fight down to 10 rounds. Cameron came back with some shots. I can see him creeping forward. Good pressure from Cameron, it looks like. Cutting the ring off well, moving quickly to his left. Soldier joins says Whittaker needs to put in work. Okay, look, he looks like he's doing the showboating. He's back with the showboating. If that's who you are, stand by it. Don't be scared to showboat in case it goes wrong. If you shouldn't have showboat. If that's who you are, showboat. If you win, you win. Then all the better. If you lose, you lose. Stand by it. Stand by who you are. Big up, Guzzy. Social joins. Whittaker needs to put in work. Social joins says that's the issue. Don't be another Josh Kelly. Well, that's not good at all, is it? All right. Into round 2. Still need some substance. Showboating alone, like you're saying, you can't be another Josh Kelly. I agree with that, Joins. I agree with that. You know what I mean? You got to do real things in there. What's it? Okay. Oh, bloody hell. The banner just like got stupid now. Okay, letting his hands go from what I see. LT says, boom. Looks in great shape though, Whittaker, for whatever that means. Bullshit stoppage. Oh, he stopped him already? So I'm way behind. Okay. Bit anticlimactic, you guys are saying. Okay, Ben getting through though. Ben making it look easy. In all truth, from what I'm seeing, I can't see the full screen, but it looks like he looks like he's picking him off with a jab easy. Oh, he's rocked him, yeah. He stopped it a little too early, yeah. That's not Ben Whittaker's fault though. That's not his fault though. It's not Ben's fault. It's not Ben's fault. Yeah, it may be a poor stoppage, but it's not Ben's fault. It's not his fault. That's not his fault. That's not his fault. Take it up with the referee. He done what he had to do. He came back and he looked pretty good. From what I saw, I couldn't see the full screen. He looked pretty good. Looked pretty good. You know what I mean? He landed a big shot, followed up, and he sent Liam back to obscurity. You know what I mean? Maybe they can run it back a third time. Whittaker don't care. You know what I mean? Saeed, no one's saying it's Ben's fault. I didn't say you said it was Ben's fault. I'm saying it. You ever got a problem with that, Saeed? Ben done what he was supposed to do. You know what I mean? I'm glad for him because, like, most of the country wanted him to lose. They've got this hate thing in for him, so I'm glad he did what he had to do. This is 175. I need to see a full screen of it. So I'm sure they'll have replays on it. On Twitch. One sec, people. I'll tell you this now, yeah? And I don't normally do this because there's no evidence, but I think from what I saw, you can see he was the better fighter. Like the light-skinned brother was about to do what he was supposed to do. Jewel 1982 says, good stoppage. Cameron did not respond. Yeah. The light-skinned brother done his thing, bro. You know what I mean? I'm glad he done what he had to do. Because he's got non-stop stick, right? He's never thrown tables like Jarrell Miller. He's done a bit of showboating, and like they just hate, like the hate he's got has been like flipping ridiculous because they don't do standing 8 counts in the UK. Well, you ain't know, son. They don't do standing 8 counts in the UK. Paul Connaughton got hit far too easily. He would be found out at top level, maybe. Dennis, he says, hi, Mr. Beats, I just signed on. What did I miss? Big ups. Oh, it's over. It's over. Fight's over, Dennis. Second round stoppage, I believe. It's over. Oh, they're booing like crazy. They're booing like crazy. You know, if people are upset, they're upset. It's not Ben's fault. You know what I mean, he looked pretty good to me. Why don't you talk about how good he looked? He looked. I'm watching the replay on Twitter. Okay, great right hand, turned over that punch brilliantly. Good shot. He was gonna knock him out, bro. He was gonna knock him out. I've seen worse. The Birmingham crowd don't like Whittaker. No, that's not true. That's not true. That's not true. Maybe some of them don't, but that's not true. What you're saying is not true. What you're saying is not true, bro. He's from Walsall. He's got enough Birmingham man who love him. That's not true, bro. You live over here? That's not true what you're saying. Why do you guys hate Ben, just randomly hate him so much? I've seen words stopping. You guys just hate the guy for not. I can't stand you people who just randomly hate people. Like, okay, he's done a bit of showboating, but you're like, what's the hate for? Like, fucking hate. Flipping hate. Yeah, he's a Midland, right? Tell him, Guzzy. He's a Midlands boy. Mr. Flash says Ben was going to stop him, but ref did not give Cameron a fighting chance. Should have at least got a 10 count. You don't do standing 8 counts in the UK, bro. They weren't booing him. They were booing the stoppage. They're not booing him. Hey, look, man. Just in case anyone think that I'm being biased, here's the link. I'm going to stay up here for a little while. You know what I mean? Well, Frank Warren's going to have a go, isn't he? The replays, it don't look that bad to me. I've seen worse stoppages. I've seen worse. Look pretty good, Ben. You look pretty good to me, bro. And his physique looked like he looked like like an Adonis. Look how fast his hands are, man. I mean, go on, Ben. Hey, it's all right, man. It's all right. It's all right. Do your thing, bro. You know what I mean? There's the link, bro. Anyone want to complain about Whittaker? Let's have it. Let's have it. He looked good. He looked good. Dennis says anything different. Anything different? A breath of fresh air? I'll have to find it. Yeah. He done his thing. His legs look shaky to me, bro. Slevin E. I thought Cameron's legs looked wobbly, but I don't think he was going to go down. I think he would have done. Coppin said British stoppage, but I give you props. Yeah, I'll run with that, Coppin. I think it was a British stoppage. I'll run with that. It was a British stoppage. You know what I mean? They could have prop back, but they didn't want the man to get brain damage or nothing like that. He was gonna get broke up, bro. You was gonna get broke up. But then again, maybe he could have turned it around. But Ben Whittaker had that bit between his teeth this time around. You know what I mean? That's career best performance. Dark Reality says flash stoppage. Guzzy said jumps. Glitches. Whittaker is a one-tick opponent. Crescentio says that was explosive. Tough glitches says still a hype job. You mad. You mad. You mad. Come on, hit the link. Come on, let's have it. Come on then, lads. Let's have it. Let's have it. Paul says Howard Foster is corrupt as they come. Johnny's on one said wasn't expecting that. Crescentio says congratulations, Whittaker. Social, he says it's not a bad call. Wobbly legs, wasn't firing back, he was dazed. Biggest thing I noticed from the jumps this Coppin was Ben's hands were slightly higher than normal. Yeah, I tell you what, man, he looks solid. He looks solid, man. He looks solid. I can't lie. He looks solid. He looked like he looked professional, like consummate performance. You know what I mean? Done his thing, man. Great right hand. Hurt him early, then went after him. Yeah. Go on, Ben. Shut up them haters for a little while. Dr. Wu says redemption for Whittaker. LT, Andy Lee building a nice stable. Dark Reality, leaning on the ropes. Held up, call account. That's fixed. It's not going to help Whittaker's rep, nor is that Jesus stuff. What do you mean that? What do you mean by the Jesus stuff? Stop it, bro. Stop it, bro. Were you into demons and everything there? Yeah? You into the demon thing? You carry on with it. Keep going with your demon thing about that Jesus stuff. Stop it, bro. Stop it. Stop it. Tell him. See, he said it. Jesus is king. Tell him, bro. Tell him. We ain't in a demon business, bro. You know what I mean? Ronnie, Shaka and Peters next for Whittaker. That's not a bad fight. Window liquor. Ben is still a better Mr. S, crap stoppage. Second one of the night. Slevin E. If Ben was hurt like that, I don't think Howard stops it, but it is what it is. Well, we'll never know, will we? You know what I mean? We'll never know. You know what I mean? If his auntie was his uncle, we'd call her Bob, wouldn't he? So, yeah, we could say that, I guess, isn't it? Johnny said it's fine to be a one-trick pony if the trick is knocking people's spark out. Come on, lads. I mean, send a link in. Come on. Let's have it then. Come on. He looked good to me. He looked good. I like the performance. Hey, look, did you see the body shots beforehand? The body shots hurt him, bro. He was brocking him up. Hey, the last right hand buckled him as well. You know what I mean? Hey, listen, I'd agree early, but he was brocking up this youth. Look at the body shots, man. This is a different Ben Whittaker, bro. Yeah. Guzzy said Liam got hit, was going down, but stood back up and took another punch. Ref jumps in. Yeah, he was getting tump up. He was getting tump up. Yeah. Yeah. Coppin wants to get him in 12 rounds. No, I don't think he should go 12 yet. I think he should get out of the 10, get to 10 wins, and then he can go 12. I don't think there's no rush. 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 Dr. Wu says Cameron was out of it. Good stoppage. Yogi loves sleepers. He says Ben is becoming Mayweather with all this hate. I don't mean. I know what you mean. I know. I mean. I know what you meant. 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 No gum shield. He said it beats. I haven't seen a standing 8 hit count here in boxing. Yeah, they don't do standing 8 count. That killed off a long time in UK boxing. Standing 8. Yeah, no broccoli. He don't. He wants a Five Guys burger. Derek, bring my man a burger. Been eating enough broccoli. See, you know what his problem is. Like he came in. He came in a bit, maybe a little heavy for the scales. They said. So I don't know how much long he can make light heavy. But I don't think he can do cruiser. I don't think he like. See, he looks impressive physically here, but I don't think that transitions another 25 pounds up. Mr. S says Selassie is king. Yeah, I'll run with that. Hey, listen, you can say Selassie. You know what I mean? I'll run with that. Well, one thing I'm not running with though is the demon thing. Yeah, you can say Selassie, Jesus, any positive spirituality or religion, I'll run with it. But none of the demon thing, like no, don't do the demon thing, bro. I'm not interested in no one doing the demon thing. Don't do the demon thing, bro. But no demon vibes there. You know what I'm saying? Guzzy says Ben is doing good for his 10th pro fight. Slimming E says social joins. If he's going to take a knee, then you let him take the knee. Hey, listen, it's done, man. Listen, man. It was a bit premature. Maybe they have a third fight in it. Maybe they have a third one. Who knows? Maybe they have a third one. Maybe I can get a broadcast of the whole thing. He's bracking him up, man, on this replay on Twitter. Great right hand. Great timing. He timed it beautifully. Yeah, man. Good shot. Hey, listen, he kept the punches going. My man weren't firing back. He was outclassed this time around. Slamming knee. Fighters should take the knee more, protect themselves from stoppages. He's going to get knocked, but I mean, he's likely to get knocked out. You know what I mean? Yeah, man. How you mean, Mr. S? Rastafari. Daniel killed some kid in one years ago. Oh yeah, Tete, yeah, he did. Yeah, Fraser Clark. Social joins, he was looking at the punches and trying to block them. His hands were high. Being dazed doesn't mean he stopped the fight. Let's have a look if you're right there. He had his hands up, but I mean, them body shots really hurt him. He was just covering up. Yeah, he had his hands up, but he was just covering up. You got to fire back. You have to fire back, you know. You got to fire back. Should have punched back. If he's not hurt, punch back. Listen, man, he goes back into obscurity, bro. That's what he does. He goes back into obscurity. It's up and onwards for Ben Whittaker. You know what I mean? Slevin E said, F the third fight, let Ben move on. Yeah. Now, I'm not in the demon talk, the demon business, bro. If a man practice demon thing, I mean, he can go somewhere else with it. No, not demon business. Mr. Flash, looked like the ropes held up Cameron. That's what I said. He should have got the count, but whatever it is, what it is, Ben should go on to bigger and better things. Oh, they actually made the Hamza versus Berlanga fight? Is he being cashed out? Well, not really. He probably was offered it and he said, yeah, we'll go for it. We'll take it. Not really. That was a really good right hand by Ben. Yeah, the referee saved him from taking a beating, it looks like, you know. The more I'm seeing it. Yeah, because Ben is stuck. Frank is stuck with Liam Cameron. He's stuck with him. You know, Frank didn't want him to take this fight. Yeah, Frank didn't want him to take this fight. This is why, and Liam messed up. He shouldn't have took this fight. He took this fight. He listened to a lot of you in the comment section. Yeah, go kill Ben and get rid of him. Right? When he secured his deal with Frank, what he should have done is sat down with Lee Eaton and devised a strategy. Right? See, like Josh Padley yesterday, right? He got a deal with Matchroom, and they lined him up with the Serbian guy. He bought some fans there. He got a nice little stoppage win. And then next time out, he'll fight Reece Bellotti for the British or European super featherweight titles. And there's a strategy behind it. But, you know, you shouldn't have went after this guy. You should have made Ben chase you. So you should have done. Should have took your time. If Cameron is still a 10-round fighter, which development level fighter should he fight next? Don't know. He's only had a few fights. You know what I mean? He's only had a few fights. So if Andy Lee needs a little more time to work with him, that's what they'll do. Rushing him is an option, but if they really want to make something of him, they'll use the time they have that he's only had a few fights to develop him. You know, like what are you going to do? Push him into world titles in his 12th fight? He hasn't even had 10. He's only had about 9 fights. You know what I mean? Ronnie, Shiraz could beat Berlanga. Berlanga is big and durable, but has limited boxing ability. I like the fight though. So that's Frank versus. Is Berlanga still with Eddie? Big up, Tone.
What are you saying? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, bro.
Okay. Okay, cool. I got these dodgy headphones. Yeah. Yeah. That was a bit. Okay. I can hear myself now. So let me.
You there? Slevin East says social joins. Maybe let the fight go on and see if he punches back. If somebody doesn't punch back for 10 seconds when they buzz, doesn't mean you stop it. Listen, you do know that you have a certain period to punch back, or the referees are advised to stop fights if you're not punching back. You do know that. That's one of the biggest telltale signs to stop a fight, when someone is not punching back.
Howard Foster. Can you hear me?
One of the biggest... Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. Sorry, there's a bit of a lag over here. Yeah, it's just, do you know what? Howard Foster, isn't it? There you go. It just seems to happen a lot with him. Yeah, but you know what? He did. He bossed every second of the fight. It looked like the first fight a little bit to me, from the beginning, but obviously he was digging down a bit harder. But, again, it's like that. I was looking forward to a bit more, a little bit more, but there you go. Like you say, you don't get paid for overtime, do you, in boxing? So, get the man out early. But I'd like to see him in with some more British level guys, top 20 at least, top 15.
From what I saw, yeah, it looked like two levels. I'm not going to argue it was an early stoppage, but it looked like two different levels. Even in the time that the fight was on, it looked like.
The other guy, he's a plodder, isn't he?
Yeah, he looked like a plodder. Yeah, he may look like a plodder. Yeah. PC plod.
So really, that's how he should have been handled in the first fight. But there you go. The first fight was, and of course, I said the other thing is like, it's like, sorry, yeah. The thing is, the way that he got stopped, he's going to get a lot of stick, and it's not his fault. Do you know what I mean?
Why would he get stick? He's not the referee.
Because that's how fans stay. You know how the fans are.
Well, that would mean that they've got a lack of.
Yeah, well, they have, haven't they? They have
common sense, because he looked absolutely. He looked tremendous in the short time it was on.
Yeah, and there is obviously a level. He's obviously levels above this guy here. I don't know what happened in the first fight. Bad night for him in the office, to put it down to. The way that first fight ended. I don't think it was just because everybody hated him. Because I think it seemed like there's a lot of hate for him straight after the way that fight ended. It seemed like there was a lot more hate being thrown his way.
What is the time? I don't think there's an exact time frame, Sleveny. I'm just saying, if you're not punching back, the referees are advised, if the fighter is not punching back in a time limit that they think is satisfactory, they are advised to stop the fight. You've got to punch back. You have to punch. If you don't want to get stopped, you've got to punch back. Carlton Palmer said 15 or so unanswered punches. I didn't say it was a rule. When did I say it was a rule? I didn't say it was a rule. I'm telling you now, the referees are instructed in the UK at least, if you're not punching back, right, you're asking to get stopped. I didn't say it was a rule. You've got to punch back. You can't just cover up and not punch back. That's what I said. I didn't say it was a rule. Where did I say it was a rule? Yeah, he looked good to me, Tom. I thought he looked good. Good hand speed. The way he timed the first right hand. And for all the people, remember, a lot of people saying that Liam was going to walk through him. There was no signs that Liam was going to walk through him at all. No signs at all.
Yeah, that's boxing, though, isn't it? With just the picks are mad sometimes. I thought that Ben was going to win on points. I just thought he'd just, use his skill to outbox him. But there you go, had a point to prove, didn't he? And he did prove it. I would have liked to seen a cleaner ending to the fight, but that's boxing, and the ref is in there. The ref,
Sorry, Tom.
Yeah.
Alexandra, Fury did not get a 9 count. It's an 8 count, and he did not get an 8 count. It was considered a knockdown because he bounced into the ropes. He didn't get an 8 count. It was considered a knockdown because he bounced into the ropes. Although he bounced into the ropes so many times before they decided to call one of the occasions he bounced into the ropes a knockdown. It wasn't an 8 count. It was a knockdown. A standing 8 count is not a knockdown. Fury, Usyk was awarded with a knockdown when Fury bounced into the rope. They were saying if the ropes weren't there, he would have went down, and it scored a knockdown.
Yeah, Cameron was hurt, and the ref did him a favor,
Danny Farrington said all the shots were on the glove, bar the body shots. Hey, listen, you think you think punches don't hurt even if they're landing on the gloves. He was getting punched up, bro. And there was one right hand at the end that landed on the head, right? And it buckled him. So some of you are upset. You know why you're upset, right? Because he's tall, light-skinned. He could probably take your girl and get more girls in the club than you, and you're just jealous. That's what it is. You're just fucking a lot of resentful motherfuckers out there. You know what I mean? That's all it is. I'm just being honest, man. You think I don't know what a lot of dudes are like? Just all the hate, bro. All the hate. He wasn't even wobbled. He was wobbled, Danny. Stop it, Danny. Danny, he was wobbled. Stop being a muppet, Danny. Carlton Palmer said there was hate because he quit, but he came back and did what he should have done in the first fight. Daniel says early stoppage, but he looked the part, man. He looked the part. Unless you're going to say that. So what? Ben fixed the fight. Are you saying Ben Whittaker fixed it? But Frank Warren has more juice than Ben Whittaker, than Ben Shalom. So you saying Ben Shalom got this fight fixed? Is that what you guys are saying? Yo, the link's there. Come and say your piece, bro. Do you think it was fixed, Tom?
No, it wasn't fixed. It wasn't fixed. I just thought the stoppage was. I thought the ref jumped in a bit early, but he was hurt. There you go. And he was hurt, and then he took a shot where he nearly went down again. And I think the ref probably made his mind up then, So I don't know how he managed to stay on his feet, to tell you the truth. But, the ref's in there to do his job. And, you can't really argue to say that he didn't do it. But, when I was watching it at the time, I just thought he jumped in a bit early. But I was having this discussion with my friend earlier today, like, because he was an ex-boxer and he's really about protecting the fighter. And I was saying, but how many fights have we seen when, the guy, when there's a miracle? We've seen these fights, and these fights go down, they go down for the ages. But, first and foremost, the most important thing, safety of the fighter. And that's it.
Hey, listen,
the ref saw that he was in distress and done him a favor. The ref is in there. I'm not in there. He probably could see there was a goal.
So you're saying the referee wasn't corrupt. He made a judgment. Is that your take?
Yeah. I don't think I wouldn't say he's corrupt. No, I wouldn't say he's corrupt. He's got history and a habit of, a lot of fans think that he stops fights early. But if he's corrupt, I've got no proof of that, so I can't really say. It's not like corruption to me sometimes. And I do think sometimes we've all seen fights where you think, well, as soon as somebody, the house fighter has got the other guy hurt, the ref jumps in. and sort of stops the fight. We've seen those sort of fights plenty of times.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know if it was that. I don't know if it was that. You know, it could have been that.
Yeah.
But you know,
It
he,
could have
you know,
been. It
like I
could have
say,
been.
yeah,
Could have
but
been.
he had him hurt, and there you go. And he wasn't really. He was trying to defend himself. He was getting tagged, and he wasn't throwing nothing back. So you know, the refs got every right.
Ron A says some fans get way too emotional about these fighters. You can see it with the copy and paste Whittaker comments or with the Conor Ben egg jokes. Hey, let me tell you something, right? I've got a video coming, right? Chris Eubank is getting exposed. Big time. Tomorrow morning, tomorrow afternoon, you're going to hear it. Yeah? Getting exposed. He is a hypocrite. He is the biggest hypocrite. Biggest hypocrite. But you'll have to wait. You'll have to wait. Cameron himself didn't really complain. Yeah, he looked like Cameron, like, you know what I mean? He didn't have nowhere to go. I was like, man, our guy says Cameron should have got a count at least. You don't get standing 8 counts in the UK. You do know that. I'll keep like, how many people are going to? They don't do standing 8 count, copy. There's no standing 8 count. That went out of boxing a long time ago. I've seen some referees do them, but it's not in the rule book no more. The standing 8. Can Ben Whittaker win a world title? Tone. That's what Emma's asking.
Yeah, he could win a world title. Could be
It
guided
depends
to
who
one.
he's fighting, yeah.
Yeah, it depends who's got the belt. Yeah, you know, at the moment, the guys who are at the top of the tree, and like heavy, no, you should no, don't put him in there. You know, wait till the coast is clear. You know, but yeah, he could do it. You know, there's been lots of people who should have been nowhere near a world title who's had their hands on the belt. You know, so yeah, he's got the skills. He's got skills. Has he got enough pop? I don't know. Yeah. I'd like to, like I said, I'd like to see him in with some top 15 British guys. You know, a couple of those guys who have been around for a little while.
Skyers, they don't do standing 8 counts, bro. They don't do standing 8 counts. And don't use Fury as an example. When Fury hit the ropes, right? When you hit the ropes and they say if the ropes weren't there, it would have been a knockdown. It's considered a knockdown. They don't do standing 8 counts. So this is what I'm saying. If you don't throw punches back, they will stop the fight. If you're not firing back, they'll stop the fight. Guzzy says the hate is mad. It is mad. It is mad. It is mad. It is mad. I'd agree with the early stoppage, but yay, it's what it is, man. Ben took care of his end of what he was supposed to do. Yeah, he was on his game, on his performance. Looked sharp, looked strong. The defense and the construct looked good. You know what I mean? So it's all good. All good. Ben Whittaker doing his thing. Hit the like, man. Hit the like. Hit the like. Copin09 said, hard to take a knee in real time with zero thinking time available with punches coming towards your head. Well, you got options. You only got a few options, Copin. If you don't take the knee or you don't punch back, then what's going to happen? There's no standing 8 count. So you either got to take the knee or punch back, Copin. The standing 8 count is not an option. Because we don't have standing 8 count in boxing no more. As far as I know, there's no standing 8 count in British boxing. You don't see it in America. Back in the 80s and 90s, you used to watch boxing. You see, I only put standing 8 counts. Whole load of standing 8s. Was it the standing 8 count that saved Marvis Frazier against Quick Tillis? He was getting wet up, bro. He was getting wet up nicely and got saved. Yeah. Sosa Jones, UK don't like cocky, confident dudes. Deeply ingrained here. Yeah, look, he's not. I'm not gonna say he's everyone's cup of tea. I can see why he pisses people off, but some of the hate is over the top. Would you agree with that, Tone? Some of the hate is a bit over the top.
Yeah, but that's that happens, doesn't it? As well, it's over the top. It happens. He's going to have to know how to deal with that, and use it as well. You know what? What's worse than hate is indifference. So at least people care one way or the other. If you're going to get people to, if they hate him, then they're going to want to know what he's doing. So it could work for him. But he's still got a lot of fans, a lot of young guys, a lot of young people like him. They love the showmanship, and the flash and the antics. They love all that sort of stuff. And, he should carry on doing it because that will get him the fights. That will get him, that if it's good TV, he'll get the fights.
He came out showboating today. He said, he said, look, I'm going to be me. He done a bit of showboating.
Yeah. He's a confident guy. He's got a lot of confidence about him.
Fight. He should, even if you lose because you're showboating, be true to who you are. Don't let the public change you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Owen, my brother. I'm trying to show love to the people. There's no standing 8 count, Owen. You're saying maybe you should have given him a stand. There's no standing 8 count, Owen. There is no standing 8 count. Janika, the match is ended. Oh yeah, it's a done deal. It's a done deal. Slevin says, I don't want to click the link because I'm light skinned. And if your girls see me, they might want me. Maybe. Owen said, let's give him his flowers. Blended well, showed improvement. Mr. S, the card was fixed to make Clark and Whittaker look good and bounce back. Mr. S, boxer cards are ish. I see Fraser Clark's good. That shows how badly Dillian has regressed in it.
Yeah. He dealt with Tete. He dealt with him, didn't he? Really, I think Tete put more hands on the ref than he did on Fraser. So there you go. Yeah. But look, you're just reading out some comments, and that's what you're going to get. You're going to get a lot of people when the fights, when they don't see a clean stoppage, what they deem to be a clean stoppage anyway, then the theories come out. I ain't going to call them conspiracy theories because it's a crooked sport as well. And then plus with sport anyway, people, they are very partisan, aren't they? They are really for and really against.
They say you had money on round 2. You had money on round 2, Tom, yeah?
Mate, I wish I had money on round 2. I wish.
That probably some nice odds on that.
Yeah, it would have been okay. It would have been all right. Would have been decent. I mean, like I said, I had him because I think people thought Cameron was a bit tougher than what he showed tonight because he took a lot of shots in the first fight. Didn't seem to phase him. So, I thought it was going to be just a 12-round points, possibly lopsided. I thought he was going to come out, show his boxing. There you go. Like he sat down.
Slevin E. F this bed. What's Beat got to say about poor Eubank? Hey, listen. I don't do. If I'm gonna do a hit piece, I don't do my opinion. I do receipts. Yeah. What you're gonna see tomorrow is a receipt, a big time receipt that's gonna expose a lot of hypocrisy. That's all I'm gonna say. Yeah. About poor Eubank. You see how poor, you know what I mean? Anthony Mackin. Big up Anthony Mackin. You know what I mean? Put Yayam in the building. You know what I mean? Guy, it didn't need to be a standing 8. He dropped and the ropes held him up. So the referee, no, it's not, no. You're making up rules. They're saying if you get hit by a punch and the rope stop you from the momentum of the punch, that is considered a knockdown. That's not what happened to him. Carlton Palmer, could he beat Boatsy now? I tell you what, it's an interesting question, Carlton, right? I think in the early rounds, he outboxes Boatsy easy. But you see, Boatsy took all them hard punches from Callum. It's whether he could maintain it into the second half.
I mean, like beats the British top 10 at light heavyweight is quite good. No, I mean, not, it's not, they haven't got the world's best, but it's pretty strong for a domestic division. So I like to see him getting in there and have, have somebody who's more experienced sort of names. If he really is that, it might be early days for him though, but because I don't know.
How much
he's only had 9 fights. He's had 10 fights now.
Oh, he had 10 now?
Yeah.
All right.
But right at the top of the tree, you got Yard, Buatsi, and Smith. And then you got Hutchison, Richards, Parker, Arthur, Ezra Taylor. I think you got Dan Aziz. I don't think he's quite top 10.
Someone, I think it was Emma said that Dan Aziz will beat Ben. You think Dan Aziz won't beat Ben at this stage of his career? Ben will make him look silly. That's what I believe. I don't think Dan Aziz will be no competition for Ben Whittaker at this stage of their career. But a few years back, it would have been a tough fight, but not now. Not now. Could he beat Boatsy? I don't know, Colin.
Do you think he could beat Yard?
I don't know, I don't know. Because let's remember, right? The guy who took Yard the distance last time out, he's not as good as Ben Whittaker. He ain't.
No.
He definitely not. And like,
but for a domestic division, for a domestic top 10, it's got some decent names in there for a domestic division,
Yeah.
So anybody he fights in there is a step up.
Because all right, the next domestic light heavyweight fight is Yard versus Lyndon Arthur. That's next week on the Conor Chris undercard. So Coppin could be right. If he's had 10 fights, like you say, maybe it's time to put him in 12 or 10s. Although they didn't fancy 12. I mean, he's got some options out there. He's got some options. And whoever said the Shakan, what's his name? Shakan Pitters. That's a good fight. Shakan's a good fight. Like Craig Richards, they're all good fights. They're not easy fights. You know what I mean? Not easy fights, bro. Some good comments, man. Some good comments. What did I make of the Kovalev fight last night? I saw it. Where was he fighting? A cruiser. The guy tried to walk him down. Did you see? The guy was huge. He had these huge legs, man. I thought he was going to kill Kovalev. But Kovalev caught him with some good counters and took him out. Like, you know what it was? It was the skill, in it. It was this, because when the guy was walking him down, he looked dangerous. But as long as Kovalev kept jabbing, then he was okay. Just keep that jab going, and he did. And when Kovalev gets his boxing together behind the jab, he's a pretty good operator, man. He's a pretty good operator. But I don't know what he's got left though.
I was going to say, what did his legs look like? And was he getting hit a lot, or did he just?
He got hit a few times. He did, but he didn't get hurt that bad. The guy was a heavy puncher more than explosive, and Kovalev was seeing a lot of it coming. But the fight before that, he didn't get stopped, but he was floored heavily, I think, in the last seconds. and the guy was giving him a beating. He was getting a beating last time out. Before that, he lost in the fight before that. Yeah.
Yeah, he's sort of for a guy who's involved in so many sort of high profile fights. I don't think he got as much money out of the game as maybe he should have, because I think he used to manage him. What's her name? Duva.
Who did beats like between Nigel and Eubank? I like both of them. I like both. I think they've done like tremendous stuff for sports over here and boxing. They done tremendous things. Both of them. Both of them. Both of them. Super Soda, Eggs Benedict. Okay. Okay. Slevin David. I remember David Price got a standing 8 count. I remember that. But that's corruption, because like they didn't want him to take another beating from Anthony Thompson. But even the commentary said, "Do we still do standing 8 count?" That was corruption. That was in the second Tony Thompson fight. But that's because he was taking a beating. So standing 8 count came in. How much standing 8 counts do you see Slevin in British boxing? Not many. Not many. Sometimes they'll slip in a bit of corruption. They'll slip in a bit of corruption. Okay, Dodge, he didn't like the stoppage. Mr. S. Whittaker won't win a world title with boxer. He needs Eddie or Frank to matchmake like Darren Barker and the Smiths got. Well, it's a fair comment. It's actually a fair comment, because if you don't get the matchmaking right, then unless you're an extreme great talent, it's very hard to win titles. Would you agree with that, Tom? Unless they get the matchmaking right, or
yeah, he's nowhere near that at the moment. He shouldn't be even thinking about that. I reckon for another 5 fights, really. And what we saw today, it didn't really show us much, really, because he wasn't really tested. He's had one fight where he's been tested and it ended odd. So we need to see more from him. I need to see more from him against different opposition. I think some of the British fights are great, but we don't get much of those at light heavy. Maybe some of them guys think, well, what's in it for me to fight him? There's nothing. I'm not going to be a stepping stone for him. On the world level, it's a serious division. You know what I mean? There's some names. Up there, there's some names. Like Bivol, Benavides, Bataviev, Morel, the British guys, Vodzik. Is Vodzik that guy there? Do you know what I mean? There's some names up there who would, put hands on him right now or anytime soon. So he's a long way off. And like that comment that you just read out, they're going to have to sort of, just kind of get him in there somehow, pick up a nice easy belt and put it on him, really. Because at the moment, he ain't going to do nothing to none of those guys.
He's still, well, he's not that young. How old is he? 28, 27? I mean, so,
yeah. But he's still got time. He's got time.
Yeah, he's got a bit of time. Not much, but he's got a bit of time.
Yeah. But it's just going to be down to how quick these promoters push him. If he is leaving boxer, we don't know. But sometimes when you come to the end of your contract, they're trying to put you in these fights. Do you know what I mean? It's too early for you because they're trying to cash out. They know you're.
Well, there's a lot of things that could be up in the air now you say that, because I think Ben Shalom's contract renewal is next month. I believe.
If he's not making money for Sky, there's a good chance he's gone.
Mm-hmm. The bottom line is the money, bro.
yeah, exactly. So if people aren't tuning in to watch the boxing on Sky anymore, then it's down to the product, isn't it? Really. And the problem with Ben that he does too much. There's a couple of it's just like Oscar De La Hoya. There's too many of these sort of fights where just too many showcase fights not enough sort of like, you know, you need a good night's entertainment, you know what I mean, for people to tune in, and that's it. Now he's trying to run his business his way, you know, he's trying to get a bit of longevity out of this, and but so he doesn't want to risk anybody too tough. But we'll see, you know, we'll see next time Fraser steps up, we see what he's really got, you know.
Yeah.
We've yet to see what this guy's got, Whittaker, because he hasn't really, you know, he's fought this guy who's, you know,
he should have beaten first time around, didn't he?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He's a British top 20 fighter. He's, you know, he's not a top 10. He can give anybody. He's a tough guy. He can hang in there with most people, you know, on the British scene. So
he took Lyndon Arthur to a majority decision, didn't he?
Yeah, and I think with him as well, with Cameron, it's a sort of story that some of the public gravitate towards. So you got a sort of lot of support, and sometimes to build, you know, when you're building somebody up, you tear the other person down. So, you know, I mean, I didn't like Ben's antics, some of the stuff he used to do against, you know, just clearly outmatched people. But, you know,
it's not everyone's cup of tea. It's not everyone's cup of tea.
You'll see these videos where people, and you click on it, and there's a lot of people who absolutely loved it. It's entertainment, you know what I mean? They're being entertained, you know. So yeah, you should carry on doing that, you know. But no who to F with, you know, because you know he's got to do that.
The thing is, it's a short career, yeah. Sometimes you've got to do what you've got to do to stand out a little. It might.
And not only that, I think he's obviously the way if he does that sort of stuff and he gets away with it, it gives him confidence, and maybe he's, you know, one of those guys who really thrives on it, you know, where he's not second guessing himself, he's just confident in his ability. So yeah, just carry on doing what you're doing, you know. And there you go. A lot of people aren't going to like him, but you know, we've had, you know, a lot of people hated Naz, a lot of people hated Chris. He hasn't got nothing on those guys, you know, for the sort of the showmanship and just the fact that just rubbing it in people's faces, you know. He's got nothing on them with that. And you know, it's always good to have a bit of, you know, these characters in the game. It's always good.
Okay, Anthony says he doesn't see good fundamentals. He sees a young boxer with good speed and reflexes. Yeah, well, I think, to be honest, a 2-round fight is too hard to judge that. I mean, like, yeah, I'm saying.
I've seen Anthony, you've written that he'll have to be masterfully, he'll have to be moved masterfully by a boxer. Well, that's not going to happen, is it? You know. That's not.
Well, I don't think Ben knows what he's doing, does he?
So, no, he's not. He's not great, is he? He's not great. No. He hasn't proven himself to be, you know, that guy yet. You know, and you know, there you go. I mean, Fraser was a big money signing for them, and he should have never put Fraser.
They haven't got no returns, and neither of them.
No, and neither of Ben. So his 2 big money signings, they've sort of come unstuck a bit, you know. So
yeah. Like, like today, they're winning fights that they should be winning. Yeah, I mean, like they're not exactly breaking any new ground or anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If we're being
honest.
That's
it. I think, and you know, when something's really built up, people like to see it crash. That's just a sort of natural human thing, I suppose. So, you know, you like to see, you know, the Flash guy get his comeuppance, you know, and that's it. I think a lot of people look at Ben and, you know, they get it, you know, they're seething with the antics, with the showmanship, with the confidence, you know, you just get a natural dislike for him. Nothing he can do about that. You know what I mean? Just carry on just being yourself, mate. And that's it.
You've got to develop a thick skin, I guess. Like, if they're paying.
And at the end of the day, you got to win the fights. That's it. No matter what you do outside the ring. You got to, when you're in the ring, you got to win these fights. Keep winning these fights. And see what happens. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, and so I don't know if Shalom, he might have learned from his mistakes, but it might be too late in the day with some of the fighters that he's presently got. I think, you know, I don't know. I don't know. Does he? I don't know if he does the matchmaking or if he gets advice from it. But there's been some dodgy ones, you know. And like the Fraser Clark one, it was a good fight, you know. But the first fight was a good fight. The second fight, in hindsight, you could say you should have moved him different.
All right,
You know, he probably got this close to it.
Anthony Fowler is saying the fight was fixed. And,
Yeah, well, there you go.
Apparently, Ben Whittaker clashed with Liam Cameron's corner post fight. I don't know what that was about.
Yeah, I think there were some words probably said back and forth in it, and he's obviously taking it to heart. But I wouldn't worry about that. That's probably nothing. There's always those things always happen, don't they? It's not always respect, is it? It's always sometimes it's people have feelings and and opinions, and they let it be known.
Okay, T Street is saying Willie Hutchinson might be next. That might not be a bad fight.
Yeah, it might not be bad at all. I mean, that would be, it might be a stinker, but unless one of them could impose themselves, because they both sort of got elusive kind of clever styles, but he's much faster than Hutchinson. But Hutchinson's a bit of a crafty one,
That I think we'll see. I think Ben Whittaker wins it.
Yeah,
I think he wins it. But it's a good fight, though.
Yeah, it's a good fight. Well, I was thinking, would Hutchinson take that? But yeah, maybe he would, because he's not really at that level. Do you know what I mean? So maybe he would take that fight to see who's the guy who's just in the group underneath the Premier guys.
Yeah, man. So next week, White Hart Lane, not Tottenham Stadium, White Hart Lane. That's what I noticed, and I'm looking forward to that. Man. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Again, I don't want to sound like moany old man, but I'm not getting.
You're not getting a vibe for that fight, no?
You know what? See what Chris looks like on the scales, and then if Chris looks okay on the scales, I think he'll stop it early. That's what I think. That's just how I feel. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. If he knows how to, because if he can deal with what Ben's got, Ben is explosive, one-dimensional. You know what he's kind of going to do. Do you know what I mean? But if he's got the speed on Chris, then
okay. Well, I haven't committed to a prediction yet. So you're going Eubank. You're definitely going Eubank.
I want to see what they look like on the scale. I want to see what he looks like. If he looks like, if he looks like a vampire, in the daytime, on the scales, then there you go. I'm not. I'll probably go for Connor.
I hear that.
But I've got. What if he doesn't even try to make weight? Well, all these sort of, because the fight's still going to go ahead. He'd probably lose money on it, but the fight will still go ahead. But
there could be a few more, things to go down. A few shenanigans.
Yeah, I'm speculating. I'm speculating. But we'll wait and see on the night. I expect, the size difference is going to look ridiculous, I think, in there. I don't know what the rehydration clause is. Do you know what it is?
10 pounds, I believe.
10 pounds. Oof.
Yeah. Oof. Second day weigh-in.
Yeah. You know what I mean? 10 pounds ain't much, really.
You know what I mean? Right. But we'll see if that's the fact. You know what I mean?
10 pounds. But I haven't even really clocked the undercard for that. I mean, with those fights there, I will always catch them. Try not to get involved in the circus of it anymore. Do you know what I mean? Because it's just most people chatting breeze, and we'll see on the night. And if it's one of those ones where I wouldn't be surprised if Chris looks good on the scales and he comes in and he's okay, he's still strong at the weight. I think he's going to deal with Connor.
Should be good, man. I think it's going to be a good night for entertainment, man.
And Connor, he's only had one fight, hasn't he, since his sort of, if you could call it a ban, but he's had one fight. He's had 2 fights.
A couple of fights.
Has he looked particularly good in those fights?
I don't think his mind, like, no, we
again,
didn't look particularly good. I don't think his
I
mind
think I
was on
watched
it,
one
guys.
of them. And it was forgetful. Yeah, okay, because I watched
Yeah,
one of them and I can't even remember it because that's how eventful the fight was, and he sort of he got through it, he laboured, he didn't really look like he was in trouble, but he didn't have what he you know what I mean? He's not the same fighter to me at the moment. I don't know if it's because of the inactivity or what, again speculating, but not the same fighter to me. So, and Chris looked good. He's looked okay recently. He looked good against Smithy in the second one. You know what I mean? Just dealt with him comfortably, and people can make excuses for Smith's conditioning, whatever. But
I don't think Connor's going to let him box at that tempo that he boxed against Liam in the second fight. I don't think he's going to let him do that. So
you're just going to rush him.
Yeah, Chris is going to have to push him back. I mean,
Connor only knows one way to fight, doesn't he? And I think he will be amped up. So he is going to go for the knockout early, So I do expect fireworks. When I say he's going to, I mean I can't read the guy's mind, but I fully expect him to go for it. Because he really, there's, what? It's always good to have a fight where there's a bit of needle, even if these guys ain't, whether people think they're overrated or whatever, or they just don't like the whole circus around it. A little bit of needle in boxing, it's traditional, as far as I'm concerned. So, it's always good. It always adds a little bit of spice to the proceedings. You know what I mean? And hopefully we'll get a tasty one. But I've tried not to get caught up in it, because I didn't think it was a great. I don't find it great matchmaking, sort of thing. I don't mind these fights between somebody going up, jumping a couple of weights, but I sort of like something on the line more than family pride. Do you know what I mean? If it's a guy who's been a champion at a lower weight and he jumps up a couple of weights to fight for a belt, I think that, I'm all up for that. But this one here, it's just, the promoters.
Not everybody's into it.
Yeah.
The points I'm making is Fury Usyk one should have been a stoppage, same as Liam tonight. I hear that. But listen, guys. You know what I mean? It is what it is. Ben Whittaker. You know what I mean? He can have a good evening. It's controversial, but he did what he had to do.
And you know what? I wish it was more exciting, so there was more to talk about. Actually, you know what I mean? It's sort of like damp squid, tonight for me. But he got the result.
I like what he did in there. I like what he did.
He done what he had to do. He done what he had to do. You know what I mean? And that's it. The referee didn't do him a favor by stopping it early.
No, the referee didn't do Liam a favor. Ben was cleaning him up.
No, exactly. So he didn't. He wasn't. It's not like he stopped him to do.
I don't think Ben should address the criticism because he came out and he executed what he was supposed to do.
Yeah, and that's it. And you know what? That's boxing as well. How many boxers we see have a bad night at the office? It happens. 100%. So sometimes you're not firing on all cylinders, and that's it. And it happens to the best of them. So,
you've got to chalk it up as one of them ones. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I'm jumping off, mate. Listen, you take
next week,
easy,
man.
All right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Peace.
All right, and take care.
Yeah, man. All right. All right, people. Next week is the big one. It's the big one. There's some good questions in there. I just don't have time to answer them, man. I did leave the link, so you guys could have got it in before. But peace.